Are you tired of reading through cluttered code filled with commented outlines that make it harder to understand and maintain? In this video, we'll discuss why commenting out code should generally be avoided and how using version control systems like Git can be a more effective way to manage code changes. Don't miss out on these tips for writing clean and maintainable code. Enjoy the module. According to the principles of clean code, it is generally a good idea to avoid commenting out code because it can make the code more difficult to read and understand, and can decrease the overall quality and maintainability of the code. Commenting out code refers to the practice of using special symbols, such as / in C# to indicate that a line or block of code should be ignored or not executed. Commenting out code can be useful in certain situations, such as when you want to temporarily disable a piece of code for testing or debugging purposes. However, commenting out code can also have negative effects on the codebase. In general, it is better to use version control instead of commenting out code. Version control systems, such as Git, allow you to keep track of changes to the codebase and revert to previous versions if needed. This can be a more effective and efficient way to manage code changes and maintain the quality and integrity of the codebase. As you can see from the examples, you should just leave out the commented out code before checking it into the version control system. One of the main problems with commenting out code is that it can make the code more difficult to read and understand. When code is commented out, it is still present in the codebase and takes up space, but it is not being executed. This can make the code more cluttered and harder to follow, and can make it more difficult to identify and fix errors or issues. Another problem with commenting out code is that it can decrease the overall quality and maintainability of the code. When code is commented out, it is not being tested or executed, which means that it can become outdated or no longer relevant over time. This can make it more difficult to make changes or updates to the code, and can increase the risk of errors or issues. In summary, commenting out code should generally be avoided according to the principles of clean code. Commenting out code can make it harder to read and understand, and decrease the overall quality and maintainability of the code. Instead of commenting out code, it is better to use version control systems like Git to track changes and revert to previous versions if needed. Commenting out code can also make the code more cluttered and harder to follow, and can increase the risk of errors or issues. To write clean and maintainable code, it is important to use clear and descriptive names, rely on proper indentation and formatting, and avoid unnecessary noise in the codebase.